with MakingStarWars.net.
Hello, channel members. Thank you for hanging out with us today. It means a lot to me. Whoa, here comes Max. Oh, now better late than never, Max.
Yeah. Are y'all on?
How's it going, Max? No, we're not on.
Okay.
No, this is behind the scenes, Max.
Is it?
No, it's 11 o'clock, Max. Of course we're on. Come on. What did
She had to reload her cache.
My cache. Shut up.
Straight out of low cash.
Cache.
Didn't she get it? I saw you look at me. You looked at me like, are you serious?
I was doing the cache bit all day yesterday with my wife with the computer. She's like, stop.
You kept saying it?
Yeah, she hates it. But I think it's fun.
9 days left until Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm excited. It's not far off. So
it's there.
Yeah, it is. Mr. Baymax is here. That is a callback to episode 1, The Phantom Menace, when young Anakin blows up the droid control ship. I got it. Thank you. Reva's last name should be N, just to fuck with the haters. Oh.
Revan and Revan. Yeah, it's cute.
Revan.
I like it.
Revan.
Yeah, I like it.
This made me laugh. It was pretty funny. I was like taking the screenshot right as Meg messaged me. Reva's last name is out there. I was just watching it as she said it. And I had, hey, there she is, Star Wars Meg. Use the Force,
hey,
Max.
Meg. I'm using the Force.
But if you, I wanted to see if potentially it was officially subtitled.
Uh-huh.
And it's not. She says that Moses Ingram says, I play Reba Savander.
So one of those letters in her last name is wrong.
Right? No, it's actually,
so
it
maybe,
seems
maybe
Reva
it's
Savander.
Maybe it's Sabander. They switched the V's and the B's.
This time it's correct. I promise.
Okay.
I promise. Yeah.
Reva Salamander, like new Salamander, like Fantastic Beasts.
As in, she's just sliding in between our boys. The only reason we're here to watch it are our boys. That's all I'm interested in is our boys. Sorry, I've become completely even more jaded of a person. Mara jaded.
Pun.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So a bunch of videos came out today, and we'll watch them. If you're wondering if I like the videos, no, I think they're fucking horrible. they're really corny for the most part, but you know, they're kind of hitting that E channel 1997 level of where all the family. And it's all like, you know, Star Wars is back. I have a hard time not going when I hold a lightsaber, you know, all of that filler kind of bullshit.
Yeah. I can't help but say pew pew every time. I just can't help myself.
I can't help it. Every single time I gotta go pew pew, and the media's like, oh my god, these guys, they're just like us.
No joke though. When I was in the army, we did do pew pew when we're having the weapons. Pew pew. They're like, hey, fucking nerd. Fall back in line.
Get your propaganda out of here. All right. Sorry. I apologize, but here we go.
Cookie Crisp matters.
All right. So right here we got the first one. I'm going to stop and start a lot on this one, so I don't know what the deal is with these, but this one right here is called an exclusive behind the scenes clip. So we're going to get an exclusive behind the scenes clip of Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. No, you're wrong. You're going to get a behind the scenes look at probably Phantom Menace, to be honest with you.
Is this a Missy Elliott exclusive?
Blown away.
Pretty much. This is from IGN, and it's look at this new shot. Oh wait, no, that's not a new shot. That's an old shot. Oh, new shot. No, that's an old shot. Wait. Oh, sorry.
Alec
Sorry.
Guinness.
Sorry. I'm not trying to,
As Obi-Wan
that
Kenobi
face
did
breaks
some of the most
canon.
amazing work.
break. That was a
He
canon
doesn't
breaking
look like you in
expression.
face. Yeah.
Yeah. What happens to him? Is he shocked by Sith lightning, and he is disfigured and malformed into Alec Guinness? Oh, stay tuned to find out.
To play
Wait. No.
him
Oh no.
as a younger man.
Okay, guys. I promise. I mean, they wouldn't put out an exclusive behind the scenes clip without it being one, right? Oh, and by the way, he looks fantastic. I mean, but I gotta say, I hope he reads his line, his off the cuff lines here, better than his lines in the show.
That's about it. The first big experience for me was going to the studio where we shot episode 1. The props master brought up a big chest.
A big chest.
Mhm.
Yeah. So once again, now we're back to the beginning. We're back to our DVD special features. Hope you're excited for this behind the scenes exclusive clip.
He looked me in the eye and he opened it up, and I got to choose Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber.
Turns out it was a bong.
This is
Those molded plastic ones
Yeah.
when they had
So that
no
was-
real knobs or pieces or anything metal on them and shit. Just real smooth. Yeah, wasn't a fan of the
Oh, man, I'll
Phantom
never
Menace
forget.
sabers. I was like, this don't look like lightsabers. Why? What, did the Empire change the way the Jedi constructed their lightsabers and shit? Like, why are they so smooth? It's weird.
I think they look a little generic now, but in a weird way, kind of came back in vogue with me. I kind of like how off they are now. They kind of have like a style. But whatever. I know what you mean though. That red plastic button thing has a cheapness to it. Oh wait, Darth Maul? Wait, no, this isn't the clip.
Lightsaber work we did was when we
Oh nope.
fight Darth Maul.
No, here we go. Here we go though.
That
I
was
know.
an amazing thing to be part
There'll be
of.
something new, right?
It was incredibly intricate.
Oh wait, we got a side by side. Oh, of the movie and the old movie. Okay.
We were just going so fast. This is quite unlike any other filmmaking I've done.
Yeah.
The
Oh
first
wait,
time
look, it's the new. Oh, it's the shots from the trailer. Man, this is really a behind the scenes of Obi-Wan Kenobi,
I got
isn't it?
dressed up as Obi-Wan again. It was a special
I'm not blaming IGN for this either. I think this is what they gave him. This is your behind the scenes Kenobi clip. They're like, okay, and they put it up.
moment. The wonder of Star Wars and the excitement of playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's really quite something.
So yeah, that's pretty much that. I don't know.
Fascinating.
Right?
Spock.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
And then this is,
All right.
and then I think Hayden Christensen might have read the site.
I don't know if I'm getting into spoiler territory here. Can I say anything that possibly gets into spoiler territory here?
Nope. Uh-oh, I just got a message. Johnny's in the chat. Johnny's in the chat. Johnny's in the chat. Johnny's in the chat. Any leaks on what Vader's glove smells like? And who cleans them?
Smells like
Assaulted?
shit. Like
Can we leave a
like a hand
little
in a
bit of,
cast.
can we leave a little bit of spoilers for the show, Johnny? Can we just leave any spoilers for the show, please?
Let's be honest. It smells like forced teen spirits, right? Teen force spirits, grammar rodeo spirits, right?
I don't know.
Grammar Rodeo Drive. It's gonna
Probably
be
smells
about
like
the rich kids of Star Wars.
no. It probably smells like a lemon in a cast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it smells like
Stinky.
I think it smells like bacon, like
Gross.
bacon. Yeah,
I'll never eat.
you know why? Because Vader's a fucking cop. Let's just be honest. He's a cop.
Smells like Gamorreans.
I'm Ewan McGregor.
My name is Hayden Christensen.
My name is Moses Ingram.
I play Anakin Skywalker.
I play Reva Savander.
And I play the part
Lead
of
of the
Obi-Wan
show.
Kenobi.
What's fun about this is in this moment.
It's not even Reva. It's Reba.
Yeah, she says Reva. She calls herself Reva. Everyone I've ever heard talk about called her Reva. But But hey, Han, Leia, Leia.
Oof.
At one point, I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill calls Lando Landau. I'm pretty sure he says that at one point. I think it's a mistake, but I think it's in there.
Jedi Knight, never a Jedi Master.
Yeah, see, right, he does it, but I almost feel like he's talking about his flashback at a point when he says he's Anakin, because he's not really Anakin in this. It's where, like, we're not supposed to know him as Anakin. It's just interesting that they acknowledge that, though.
Turned,
but I mean, it does happen with his Lost Boys hair from Revenge of the Sith.
Darth Vader.
Never tell you that? Like he really reminds me of the brother who freebases and turns into a vampire in Lost Boys in Revenge of the Sith. He looks
Michael?
a lot like him, a lot like Michael. Yeah. Like he's gonna like eat like some Chinese food, but it's to turn into maggots.
Lord of the Sith.
I am an Inquisitor. I would call myself the Inquisitor.
Oh, there we go. She's the Inquisitor. Bait and switch.
Y'all are gonna hate that.
Grand bait and switch.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
A very complex character. He has a strong sort of desire for power.
fierce, fiercely intelligent, and very quick on her feet.
See?
Someone who is always listening and intent on doing what she thinks is right, even if no one else agrees with what it is that she's doing.
What do you think about that? Huh? I know what she's talking about. She's talking about the big ending there. She does what she thinks is right, even if people don't agree. Sorry, I get excited sometimes. We'll talk about Bespin Bulletin's story here in a little while too.
There's also a lot of inner conflict, and there's certainly an inner sort of struggle of identity. I was living in Vancouver at the time. I was renting an apartment with a good friend of mine.
This is back. We're back to Attack of the Clones times. I remember this is the story he used to tell back in the day.
He knew that I was up for this role, and I was going to be finding out soon. I got the phone call when I was still in bed, actually. I remember coming out of the room just like an ear to ear grin on my face, and my roommate looked at me and was like, "Is that smile what I think it is?"
See, what I want to know is, why didn't they ask him, what about when you got the role to come back? You know what I mean? Because it was like, yeah, you want this face? Pay me. I bet you that's what it was.
And then so I lit up an imaginary lightsaber, and immediately he got it. And then he ran over to his record player, and he had a Star Wars soundtrack, and he put the Star Wars soundtrack on, and then he lit up his imaginary lightsaber, and we had a whole lightsaber battle as we were laughing.
Celebrities, they're just like us.
Who? Quick question.
Yeah.
Who was the actor that played Anakin in the original Return of the Jedi? Is it Sebastian
Shaw.
Shaw.
Sean,
He kind of looks
Yeah.
a little like him right now. Or
Yeah,
in
he
this
does.
one.
Yeah, he does. He has a lot of the same features of that actor.
Yeah,
They-
I see it in his
he's gonna
eyes.
get that Fester look. It's gonna be great. It's gonna all match.
Oh no. When they were going for him, they I believe they thought that he had that Sebastian Shaw with a dash of, with a smidge of James Dean is what they said.
I see it right here.
Jumping all over the couch in the apartment, and it was
He said they were pooping all over the couch in the apartment. They started shitting everywhere. It was crazy.
Amber Heard, right?
Very,
Amber Turd.
very exciting time.
We
for me.
really needed him
was
to
amazing
line
time.
up with Sebastian Shaw so we could replace Sebastian Shaw like later on for the DVD release. So.
You know what? I really wouldn't care if they did, honestly. I
They
would
did.
Be,
They replaced.
no, I mean, if
right?
they had done it
Oh
when the
no,
helmet
when he
comes
takes the
off,
mask off, it's still him. Yeah,
they just replaced his eyebrows with nothing.
they will.
I
They'll
mean,
replace him.
I've been working.
I actually I don't think they will. I think when Lucas left, the door closed on that is my vibe. I would
No, they'll
like I
do
said, I would have been okay with it. I mean, if people wanted
First
the
they'll
original,
do it in the comics, then they'll do it in the DVD because they sync.
Is that Ewan and Quentin Tarantino?
no.
Working with Danny Boyle, and
With
I did
Danny
a film
Boyle.
with Greenaway, and I'd done a certain amount of work in Britain, and I very much felt like I was in.
It's weird that they kind of don't acknowledge train spotting there, which is like they kind of acknowledge like the ones that don't matter, and train spotting is the one that
I'm
did
used
matter.
to taking I'm used to taking my lightsaber out in movies before I
It's-
did this.
Yeah, it's
probably
like
why.
it's like
They
it's
shut
like
He's like,
yeah, it's so weird. But anyways,
a moment in British cinema, and Star Wars was definitely in a different lane. I did a lot of thinking about it, a lot of research, a lot of speaking to people I knew. And
see how different it is when he's speaking off the cuff compared to the other video, where he's like, it's like his arm is like all tight, and he's like, "These are my PR lines you just told me to say." Now he's like, "Yeah, more normal."
Trusted about their opinion about it, whether it was the right thing to do.
There's the hair. There's the fake hair right there. He has his lifeless ordinary hair under there, which is like, rock star David Bowie, Kurt Cobain-esque thing going on, and they had to put the short wig underneath it. And it looks weird.
they were better
They were
off
not.
just giving him those side World War I style haircuts, the buzz on the side, the high end tights.
Yeah, they should have just given him the wig for a lifeless ordinary and cut his hair here.
And then the closer I got to being cast as Obi-Wan, the more I wanted to do it. I was such a great fan of the original films as a child, and I felt like I just wanted to be part of that. If I could be part of that, then I would want to do that.
I don't think I said anything, actually. It was like one intense, really long week of auditioning, and then we got to that final Zoom, and I thought I was going to have to do something else, and Deb told me I had the job, and honestly, I think I probably was like, okay.
I respect the lack of embellishment there.
She wasn't excited enough. She didn't want it. She fire her.
Yeah.
See, you're gonna hear it. She's not excited enough. Only fans. She should have rolled out of her bed and played with 700 guys, all the lightsabers.
I mean, if you listen to the beginning of the interview, Hayden Christensen was shitting all over the room. I mean, what is this fake? What is this fake actor?
Uncontrollable bowel movements. I was just shitting everywhere. I wrote my
I was
name.
shitting everywhere, making lightsaber noises. I couldn't stop.
He's like, first I wrote Luke, but I forgot it's Anakin, it's not Luke. And so I had to go back and reshit my name. Sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry.
I think that's how it went.
By the time I actually heard about it, I was stoked. It was a great experience. It was different from anything I'd done in terms of its scale.
Yeah, there it is.
I got to work with Liam
They just keep pulling them on the shots of the reshoots for some reason.
Neeson and
Somebody must have been mad at him at Vanity Fair.
Ahmed Best and Natalie.
I like it. He brings up Ahmed Best a few times in this, which I like. I think he's trying to help his old buddy out who did the movie with. At the end he even says we should bring him back. By the way, spoilers.
100%.
Yeah. So
Portman, and I had a great experience, making those films.
and I just remembered that shot right there of Natalie Portman when we see them all lined up. I remember a back of a box of a multi-pack of figures had that on the back of it. And that was the first time we saw that shot. Anyways. From
on the original films, it was the technology, the fact that we did so much of the filming on blue screen and green screen. There were certain challenges with that. The fact that there was so little of the environment there.
And George Lucas is sort of this weird incel type, and we just didn't know what he was on about.
In episode 2, for instance, I spent a lot of time with some tall alien people who weren't really there. So that was challenging as for an actor to make that all realistic.
Well, this one required a lot more athleticism than anything else. We did about...
She's like, yeah.
Ewan goes, so we went to Chuck E. Cheese every day to kind of pretend to play with mechanical rodents, to get the feel for it. I put on 30 pounds.
At the start of this, Obi-Wan's fucking Thor when Thor gets all chunky.
George liked to wear the little bowler hat, though. That little pimp rat really brought us a lot of happiness on set.
Oh man, I miss the old pimp Chucky.
What about Showbiz?
Oh.
Showbiz was better. I like the Showbiz band better. The songs were better.
Yep.
But
Rock
then,
of Fire Explosion. Rock of Fire Explosion.
Yeah. On a side note, I was talking to my kids about that the other day. We were talking about Chuck E. Cheese and stuff, and birthdays and stuff like that. And we came to the conclusion that they must be high to not have a Five Nights at Freddy's restaurant here and there. How stupid are they? That would obliterate all of that and reinvigorate it. Maybe
as a person who's never had to open a restaurant, it would work better at a Universal Studios where they're not required to turn.
I'm not saying in every mall. I'm saying
a franchise model. No,
I'm saying put one in LA, put one in New York. People will go to it and then take it from there. I'm not saying that everywhere has anywhere that has a Hot Topic, do it. That's what I say. But if you guys are ready to go in business, I'm ready. But here we go.
4 months of training before we ever even hit the stage to start acting. And so it just took a lot to pull everything together. And
yeah, when you think about it, she was like, I mean, I haven't seen everything that I've seen Queen's Gambit, so I'm in no way a Moses Ingram, super fan who knows all of her work or anything like that. But I'm gonna imagine that doing the show with the hot chick who does drugs and plays chess probably a lot less rigorous than lightsaber fighting.
That way,
she got an amazing fro though. When she
did, yeah. The style was good.
I'm not making the lightsaber sound effects when I was doing my lightsaber scenes, just because you're sort of, it's like muscle memory from being a kid.
I always have the acting
There it is.
challenge of like playing a younger Alec Guinness, and that's my great joy in doing this is to feel like I'm moving toward.
I'm gonna throw it out here. I'm going to throw it out there and say, I honestly don't know about the efficacy of pushing the Alec Guinness thing anymore. I feel like he actually is transcended into the role in a bigger way between Clone Wars imitating him, and that I think he defines the character more than Alec Guinness does now at this point on the pop culture landscape. I get what they're trying to do.
I did is I went on set and I just started bitching about everything. Telling everyone they're a bunch of young punks and they all fucking suck. You
have 2 days. You have 1 day. I'll do all my scenes and then I'm out.
And then I'm out and I'm going to make kids promise to never watch the Star Wars ever again.
Yeah, I'll give you the autograph. Now, Ewan was cool though. Like when the time I saw him, I was like, hey, can I take a picture of you in the car? And he was like, yeah, he was cool. He was a nice guy, actually.
Did he show his tits for you?
No, he did not show his tits, but he
should have thrown him some beads.
He did take off his mask though and said, hey, this guy doesn't look like he has COVID.
Or it's becoming Alec Guinness, that's always what I'm trying to do. Well, it's difficult to pinpoint a favorite scene. Some of them are so long ago.
Oh, it's really hard to pick just one.
It was like the one with all the green screen. Remember that was the one I remember the most.
Day when every time I close my eyes, I saw a burned in fucking image of the green. Like I feel so bad for those actors. Just close your eyes after seeing that much green or blue, and you're just like, oh.
They see dots when they close their eyes.
Hayden's expression here is like, what have I done?
A number of scenes that were very memorable.
Working with Hayden again was a great pleasure. To be coming back with him after so long, since 17 years after we finished episode 3 was great.
The first scene that we shot on the very first day, it was stepping off of our ship, and I remember thinking to myself,
that's a big ass ball sack in front of me. That's what she remembers thinking.
Oh my God, this is huge. And there were like air cannons and so many people.
There were that was Filoni with the t-shirt cannon, actually.
And I think my first thought was, don't.
I show up with the merch gun like a Lego Batman. It's on my own. It's all a soda shirt.
And in a really weird gesture, he opened up a lemonade stand right next to there and charged the cast and crew if they wanted any.
You remember who the real hero of the Clone Wars was? It was Ahsoka.
It's Canon time. That's what he says. It's real weird.
Don't mess this
What's
up.
up, Sky Guy?
Don't mess this up.
At the end of episode 3, when the Darth Vader helmet comes down and he's officially encapsulated in the suit, that for me was a very big moment. I'm gonna change it, Max. I think he smells like a pepperoni pizza. Not bacon.
Told you, Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, it's Chuck E. Cheese pepperoni pizza.
Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese.
Is that what you were inferring earlier? That he smells like Chuck E. Cheese pepperoni pizza?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on the same page.
He was?
I agree with you. I agree with Rob.
I remember that very well.
Thank you.
Our costume designer, Sudarat, did such an amazing job building that costume. It sort of just lends itself to making you stand in a certain way. I felt bold and I felt strong and I felt like the leader that Reva is.
At the time, it felt like.
I don't know what.
Wait a minute. Did she say Reva?
Yeah, that's what I said at the start. She calls herself Reva, like Reva McEntire.
Okay.
Like Reba, and that's why I was saying Han, Leia, Reva, Reva. That's what I say.
At you.
Mm-hmm. At you, yeah.
Wait till they
completion
mispronounce Gungans.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
for
Gungans.
my journey
It's
with
not
the character. You know, I was playing Anakin, and then when he becomes Darth Vader, that's sort of right. But now I've gotten to come back and continue my
Now it has an MP3 player inside of it.
journey with the character. But at the time, it
has a
signified
Zune.
A Zune. When I got with my
right.
ex, one of the first things she was talking about how she had a Zune and it was better than an iPod. I should have known to get at it then. I should have known it was a bad idea.
that my job was done. Little did I know.
You think Ewan gets
Probably
on
the
set?
biggest
Now
thing.
do the no. You got to do the no.
No.
They love you for it. You do it. Do the no. Whatever.
I cut off your head. I'm a Highlander.
Anakin goes, he doesn't even talk like that. He talks like this. It's his real voice. You know, he doesn't really, he puts on that Scottish shit. He doesn't actually talk like
No.
Thing is that it already has millions of fans, and I think that
This is the part where I'm like, yeah, this is what she's up against.
thing that's daunting is that whether people like it or not, I'm absolutely gonna hear about it, and that's scary.
I don't know that it's
Yeah. Get ready. Unfortunately,
changed my view of Star Wars and this character as much as it's just sort of further informed the story and these characters. And that was kind of what was really appealing about it for me, was that we were given the opportunity to sort of flesh these characters out just a little bit more.
It's also super exciting to be joining a project in which I don't have the same things to live up to as Ewan and Hayden do. I am coming in as somebody who's never been here before, and so nobody is looking for me to be something specific. And
this is where I feel bad for her, because at the end of the day, what they're doing is that they're just saying that you shouldn't be there. Unfortunately, I think you should be. I think new characters should be there, but these idiots don't know what they're fucking talking about.
I sort of have free reign to be who I think Reva is.
Getting to come back and play Darth
No!
Vader, and this sort of the notion that we
There it
were
is.
going to get a glimpse into the experience of being Darth Vader, I thought that had a tremendous amount of value. So it's really just been about further
script is so good. I get why it's the best Star Wars script ever. Yo! Like, I don't know, man. Thundercats. No.
He actually said YOLO. People don't know. It was 2005.
form of
Actually, that's before. That's before YOLO, right? Yeah, I think that's before.
these characters. I felt has been sort of very satisfying.
You know, I wasn't a big fan of Star Wars before this. I knew like the cultural pinpoints,
told
like
you.
Vader, Luke, I am your father, Obi-Wan, those things. But I think what I've appreciated is the depth of the world that George Lucas built.
See over there? I want you to go down to McDonald's and get me a large fry and a large Coca-Cola. Don't tell Pepsi.
And the escapism it provides.
I gotta say, actually, when I saw this earlier, I was like, that's a really good picture of George Lucas. Actually looks pretty good right there.
I really worked on my standing up straight on that.
Yeah,
on
you
that
know what I
shot.
mean? No, I mean,
I used to be like just hunched right the fuck over, but
sometimes
I really
he
worked on it.
looks a
Proud.
little depressed and a little slouchy.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's
McDermott
like
was bloated that day though. He was kind of fat. It wasn't good.
true.
Here we
So
were
many
using the
people and-
purple screen on this one for Mace because he likes purple screens. So
It was in Samuel L. Jackson's contract.
yeah, John
Provide
Knowles
myself.
fucking hated it, but we had to do it. It's in the contract.
No, I've been very, very happy to join the universe.
The volume is just an amazing bit of technology.
George Lucas thinks that they're talking about his hair. That's what George thinks when they talk about the volume.
It's code word for my dick.
Oh shit!
Approach to
What?
working in the volume is much different than filming in front of a blue screen or a green screen.
I never had to pretend or imagine where I was. Ewan and Hayden sort of were used to like green screens and tennis balls. I feel really
Green screens and tennis. I know what you mean. It's just funny out of context. Green screens and tennis balls.
blessed that I could just walk
You
in
never
and
had to
be
work as
in-
hard as them.
Right,
You got
yeah.
it easy.
You didn't
You had
earn
to
it.
really work. Yeah, you're not earning it.
In my day, the Queen's Gambit was a 4-tiered Star Wars game, and it took a lot of time to learn how to play, and it wasn't a fucking Netflix TV show
In my
spoon-fed
day-
to me.
In my day, it was whether I picked Princess Peach or Mario 2 or Luigi. You know, like, it's just, I didn't know which one to do. This game's too easy with the princess because it's so woke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Mario
and,
had it harder.
And Gambit, I think, wasn't he like a Creole superhero?
Jim Lee made
Whatever
him.
environment I was in.
Jim Lee.
It's a Jim Lee creation.
Jim Lee creation. Not even George fucking Lucas could do that.
Totally surrounded by it. And it's incredible. You step into the volume and you're in Star Wars.
He's all, it's like the holodeck in Star Trek.
You can never really see
No, Star Trek.
sort of where it ends because it's so vast. I think that was probably one of my favorite things about working on the series.
It's quite the experience.
If I could meet one Star Wars creature, who would it be? Well, I'd like to meet Jar Jar again.
I guess I'm going to go with Yoda, just to see if I could get some of his wisdom. Maybe some of his knowledge might rub off on me.
I loved working with him.
I'm right here.
Jar Jar Binks. Maybe we could bring him back.
I'm right off set. You're Hayden
And then
driving
Reva,
Ewan's car. I'm his chauffeur, for God's sakes.
they didn't let Reva answer, which I thought was weird.
Oh,
Like, who is she gonna play?
Ewan's he's a good friend, man. You know, he is a good friend.
Did you hear people refer to her as Reva or Reva?
Everyone calls her Reva. She apparently calls herself Reva, but yeah.
Hey, Darth Maximus.
I wouldn't get hung up on it. I mean, unless everybody in the series is pronouncing it that way, but I don't see why they would.
Reva.
Hello, Mr. Maximus. How's it true? How's it going, dude? The best time of day, an episode of the Making Reva show. I know. Today I actually made the first featured image I did. It was like pink and it had Reva and it said the main character of Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi's name revealed. And then I thought, you know what? I actually might accidentally be playing into their shtick, making my own shtick, mocking them, and so I decided not to. But 9 days as the Gorlick says, the Gorlick is going to be a new monster in Star Wars. It should be. Don't feed me to the Gorlick. It turns out that all the Gorlick does is actually subscribe, like your videos, and become a channel member, and totally support you.
No, you
It's
know
like
what
the
it
nicest
is.
thing.
It's just it's a real version of that Jar Jar popsicle in it's a big head with the tongue.
Oh, yeah. Use the Force Max.
Ted.
So we got a video that's pretty much a Phantom Menace behind the scenes clip. Yeah, that's where I was like, I mean, come on, man. Like, you're not going to show us like anything from like behind the scenes of the show. Like, that's really, really dumb. I don't know. Maybe it's as effective, on Vanity Fair people. Because we also have to remember that Vanity Fair is just a basic bitch magazine at the end of the day, isn't it? I mean, does anybody fucking cool really read Vanity Fair at the end of the day? I don't think so. All I remember is them fucking helping Kurt Cobain commit suicide by making up a bunch of shit about him and not understanding punk culture at the time. And
Still bitter about that, huh?
Yeah. Honestly, I think that the magazine sucks. I know it's a whole different crew now, but fuck Vanity Fair. Yeah. So, hey, Baymax says, "Oh, this is the bit where old Ben tells his sister is the princess of Alderaan, and he got a boner for her." Oh, wait, yeah, that's likely to happen. It's probably what happens. Astro says, "See, this proves Maul was meant to be in the show." I know, right? Like, what are they hinting at? What do they know? It's like, well, they only know what they're kind of being told. Is the music new? The music that was playing in the background of the Vanity Fair piece, to me, sounds like it was just sourced music, probably low cost, if not royalty free style music is my guess. I don't think that's music from the show.
Yes, it is.
Fuck you, Max. I'm tired of your bullshit. I'm tired of you always going against me, making me look stupid on the show.
It's true, though. It's true.
Okay, Johnny.
I encourage it.
Oh yeah, we already did the smell the glove. Smell the Vader's glove. Yeah, there you go. Baymax knows. Turn it up to 11. Star Wars makes us Vader's glove smells like Padme's. Wait, maybe not. Yeah, his original robotic hand probably though, because that's what kept her around. Star Wars Meg. Oh yes, good old Landau Calrissian. Yeah, you remember that, right, Meg? It sounds like he says Landau. Like it really does. Landau Lancelot Hemel. Joel says bait and switch on how to pronounce Reva. Max, I think me and Meg came. I don't know if Meg agreed, but I think we came up with the consensus that she's Reva Revo McIntyre. So, best of both worlds.
Reva.
It's the Max Reva band now.
She was raised by musicians. Star Wars makes this. Yeah, Shaw. Ewan, don't know if you saw. Kathy Kennedy said Obi-Wan still believes that he's killed Anakin. That makes sense. But like I said, when he does see them, he's like, "Oh my God, what have they done to you? I'm so sorry." That scene that does happen, and that was what I knew of it. I have this like faint memory of someone else telling him that he's alive, but I don't remember. It's really hard to explain. Like people, when we hang on like every detail, imagine hanging on every detail of something, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 these things start coming. You know, it's like sometimes those little subtleties are lost. Like, you want to know my biggest spoiler regret? The one thing I wanted to get that I didn't get in retrospect. Does he say hello there? And what's the scene where he says it? And I didn't even think to get that one. It didn't occur to me until after I laid out the whole thing. And I was like, man, I wish I was so focused on, because it's a serious story. And so the whole time you're not thinking about like, oh, and then what cute thing happened? You know what I mean? Like it was that, and that kind of cute stuff went more towards the Leia side of things, I think.
Maybe he does that with Tika. Hello
there. Maybe. That would be a good time, because it is sort of like something he says to little people, little things. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe. But is the Kathleen Kennedy article out, the full one? If that one has hit, can somebody link me to it? I would appreciate it if you can.
Right now, Chris is running.
Yeah, I invited Chris, but he didn't come. So she just messaged me and says, no lie, the new Brotherhood book has chapters of Anakin and Padme after their wedding where Padme loves his robotic hand. Like, yeah. I mean, honestly, that robotic hand.
Does it vibrate, you think?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it does all kinds of, I mean, Anakin mods things. He totally modded it. He probably has a different hand he puts on when he gets home.
It's my Hello Kitty hand. I put on the Hello Kitty hand just for her. Oh.
Yeah. As the truth says, Daisy got hate for getting the role and didn't watch the films until she got it. And she joked, Rey is the most powerful Jedi. Can't wait to see the fallout from this throwaway line. Yeah, I hope everyone sticks up and tells people that shit's stupid. Like the actor who plays Sabine Wren at Comic-Con, when Rebels premiered, said I hadn't seen it.
She said she hadn't seen it.
Tia Sakura. Yeah, her name sounds like a Star Wars name. She almost doesn't even need a new one. It's pretty on for Star Wars. But yeah, people were like, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" And I'm just like, do you know what? Like everybody in A New Hope never saw Star Wars when they were fucking in it.
Right?
Alec Guinness didn't even like it. I guarantee you, Peter Cushing wasn't out there. Fucking Tarkin wasn't out there. Like it's irrelevant.
Just say, sit down, bitch.
Sit the fuck down, bitch.
There you go.
Like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did it. So yeah,
it has to be the greatest thing you've ever seen, and you have to have seen it a million times, or you're not a real fan.
Yeah, what sucks about the internet is people generally only defend truth, justice, and the American way if they're an insane fan. But like normal people don't get involved with bullshit, but that's what sucks at the same time. Not that they should, but people need to tell people like shut the fuck up. Like you're being fucking crazy. Like I wish there was more of that. You're being crazy about fucking something like if somebody saw Star Wars or not. In fact, though, I'm also going to turn this around a little bit on the media itself and say, stop asking that fucking question because it's stupid. If they say they liked it, oh, cool. You were born around the time of 1977 onward. That's all that it means to most people. And then if they say no, then whoa, what's she gonna do in this world? She knows nothing. We don't garner anything from it. It's literally the most empty question you could ask. And it's a cute softball. I get why they do it, but fucking who cares?
Show your tits.
Show your tits. I'm talking to you, Obi-Wan. Star Wars Santa says, liked and jingled, got here late, catching up from the beginning. Ho ho ho.
Hey Santa.
Look, I said it doesn't sound like that.
Ho, ho, ho.
But yeah,
I had to fire up my compact Presario. Took an hour.
But the weather bug says it's gonna be chilly today.
Oh no, Windows 95 needs an update. Be back in 3 days.
God, my son likes watching videos about old compact Presario pack-in software that was like spyware and stuff. I don't know. My kid's weird, man. Yeah, like all of the stuff that was just like, you know, and how it got like hijacked. He's like, I mean, I am kind of like encouraging him to be into that stuff because I think that makes him like a really good hacker. That's what I need. I need someone hacking for me.
All the AI will be doing the hacking in 5 years. So he'll be out of work. Sorry.
You want him to be a hacker?
You fucking buzzkill. All I ever wanted was for my son to grow up to be a little hacker. You need to take that.
My middle name. My mom named me Rob Buzzkill. Sorry.
Man, when you saw Home Alone, you were like, Buzz. That's my character. I ship Buzz and the Tarantula.
True story. There was a kid in my elementary school named Buzz. We looked exactly like people thought we were brothers. So
really?
We just said we were. We loved Ernest, and we'd go ew, like every fucking time. Turns out his name was Edwin, wasn't even Buzz. Figured that one out when we finally got a yearbook.
Edwin's one of those names where you're like, man, they sound like a Harry Potter character, but then you could just be kind of like be Ed. And you're like, that's kind of cool. You could just be like a wizard or Ed. At least she knows Star Wars climate. Yeah, it does seem to be the case. I hope that she was sort of briefed on the idiocy of aspects of the fandom. At the same time, though, you know, if you're gonna, I'm not saying you should be abused if you're taking the role, but at the same time, I think like if you're not 75 and you're taking a role, modern times, I think you know the kind of stupid shit that comes with that stuff, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel or just anything in mass media. I think she's probably aware of how the internet works.
She's like, I immediately went out and got restraining orders against several different YouTubers just in advance.
Yeah.
Just because I know how they get.
Right. Oh, you know what Reddit says about me now? They say, what if they take Jason Ward away in handcuffs and we let him back on here? Then how will we look? I got Minority Reported.
What?
Yeah. That's what they say because they can't take a fucking joke. So yeah, that's the world we live in. We live in a world full of fucking stupid monsters. Not even cool monsters like the Howie Mandel movie. Remember Monsters? What's it called? Little Monsters.
It wasn't that great.
It was great.
They pee in jars.
They peed in jars. Oh man, Fred Savage, he was on fire. Will Morgan says that hand can open a can of beans, man. Swiss Army hand.
A can of bean.
Thank you, Joel. We got Joel in with the spelling here. Thank you, Joel. Do you guys want to talk about the Bespin Bulletin Cal Kestis article now, or do you guys want to talk about the Book of Boba Fett stuff that Favreau is talking about to Vanity Fair this week?
Book of Boba Fett.
Book of Boba first.
Yeah,
Book of Boba first. Sorry, Bespin. You get to go third. Sorry, Bespin. You are
It's
not
like
first. Sorry, Bespin.
Robin.
You are fucking third. Bespin, I just want you to know, you might be third, but you're number one to me. Okay.
Ooh.
So Star Wars Jon Favreau explains why Boba Fett couldn't break bad. Well, because the show's not as good as Breaking Bad. Did the Book of Boba Fett make the villain too nice? The creators say caution was always his thing. Now I'm gonna, just before we kind of get into it, I have to say, no, check it out. There,
Right.
No, seriously. Like
Okay.
my take, and you could disagree at the end. I have no problem with that. But their logic is fucking sound. I really think like what Filoni says is dead on in this interview. but the execution, on the other hand, is where I disagree with them. So let me know what you guys think. Here we go. Okay. There's an old maxim that states, never meet your heroes. It may also apply to villains. This person, blah, 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 blah. He tells a bunch of stuff about Boba Fett we already know. Okay. So let's get down to where they start talking. Okay, here you go. You think about Don Corleone, Favreau says. There's a tremendous amount of restraint because he knows that to be sustainable, there has to be peace. You don't do well unless there's some political balance, because if you keep going to the mattresses, nobody's earning. Okay, that's fair. That's kind of like, standard fare there. The elder Corleone, as the Godfather, also rejects the drug trade and resists calls to do murder. Stability and safety are important to the boss at that point in his life. You think about what things are off limits. Don Corleone wasn't just doing everything to line his pockets as he got later in his career, Favreau says. You look at De Niro in the flashbacks in The Godfather Part 2, and he's walking down the streets. He's seen as somebody who's actually creating, somebody the people respect because of the way he conducts himself. There's a lot of different ways to run an empire. There's the Sonny way, there's the Michael way, then there's the Vito way. One is hot-headed, the other cold-blooded. The last one is even-tempered, even if that moderation endlessly divided longtime Star Wars obsessives. And now really quickly, though, because I don't want to just like read at you guys too long. I mean, the big difference here is why. Why is he that way in The Godfather when it opens up? Why is he measured? Because he has a lot to lose. Don't you think that's the fucking difference here? He has a wife, a sons, grandchildren. He wants to get out there in the garden and eat oranges with his grandkids and shit like that. At that point, he has a lot to like lose. Boba Fett, I mean, I only picked up a pretty hot lady bounty hunter and I gave her a new tummy. But there doesn't seem like that's a lot to live for.
Yeah, except they're missing the whole thing. They're taking another movie and trying to contextualize a Star Wars character around another film. Instead of saying, when we say a Boba Fett show, what's the first thing that pops in your head? And then putting that all fucking down. And none of it's like The Godfather, where the Corleone sits around and doesn't do shit. Like, that's nobody's thinking that. Like, that's not an exciting show. Remember when Vito just didn't do shit? And no, fucking Michael, everyone else did shit. But it's fucking called Boba Fett. It wasn't called... the idea of Boba Fett being the Godfather is just so dumb, dude. It's the wrong... Jabba the Hutt being the Godfather made more sense.
I actually disagree there. I think that Boba Fett being a Godfather, fine. It's fine. Like, it could work. It could have worked. But the difference is that if they look at the character motivations of the Godfather and they apply it to a character who doesn't have those same motivations, there's no connection to those motivations. And then on top of all of that, you can tell a story of Boba Fett at this point in his life where he's at that point. But the problem is that if they didn't put him at that point in his life, he just looks older. It's not the same thing.
And they also just did 2 episodes of a series where he wasn't doing that. He was fucking murdering folks.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they bring Boba Fett back and he's already the daimyo of fucking Tatooine.
Right.
And then how did he get there? All right. But when he came back, he's still a warrior. He's fucking waxing dudes, blowing shit up, dropping sonic pulsar bombs, fucking everyone up. And then they go, no, now we're going to shove this other idea into it. So it didn't work.
Yeah. No, and while Favreau turned to Francis Ford Coppola's Mob Saga for inspiration, Dr. Robert Rodriguez, who helmed multiple episodes of Boba Fett inspirations from blah, blah, blah. And then he goes on to say, we would talk to Robert about Conan. Conan starts off as a young warrior and then ages up through the books until he's Conan the King. So how is Boba the Crime Lord going to be different, knowing what he knows, than what he would have been was what is a younger man, basically. Sorry, I can't read without my glasses. But essentially, like that's, and we talked about that before, is that story, you have a juxtaposition between the king and the murdering barbarian. The difference between the king and the barbarian. And this does not do that juxtaposition. So once again, it's not really smart as it sounds like on paper. So Favreau says, I think he's just wise. He's also a much older character because now we're after the original trilogy. He's at a point in his life having experienced what we had seen in the previous films. And that, once again, I think is a fine concept and a fine idea. And I think that you could make him that guy, but you didn't earn that. I don't think they took him from A to Z here. They just kind of like went A, J, Z. You know what I mean? It's not really how you do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but then I got done writing the scripts, and then I was like, this is some boring shit. We'll make it anyway. Like,
no, he's all, this is some boring shit. I don't want to revise it. Let's just make it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there's and then it goes on to say there's no shortage of possible Kingpin models and names all of that. And then the legend of Boba Fett may have simply overtaken the reality George Lucas presented on screen. This is where I think Filoni actually has a lot of good things to say in this article, though. But anyways, this is still Favreau. Boba Fett is a lot of things, a lot of different people. I grew up with Boba Fett as a faceless, quiet, mysterious bounty hunter. All we know is that he was scary enough that Darth Vader saw him as somebody to set out after Han Solo. Then by the time you hit the second movie and Boba Fett was in Return of the Jedi, that was a different version of the character. He got knocked into the Sarlacc pit and passed away. I think people assumed he would have lasted longer in that situation. And then, of course he didn't. And
yeah, well, I fucking hated the guy.
So he goes on to say,
half my empire, but what do I know?
We'll see, like Filoni reads the character way more accurate. Boba Fett calls Darth Vader to capture Han Solo. He doesn't capture Han Solo. He gets on the phone and says, "Come here and get Han Solo. I found him." And then he also disagrees with the popularly held notion that Fett was one of the few characters who could defy Darth Vader. It's funny when you say he stands up to Darth Vader. Does he do that? I think he was hired and Vader tells him no disintegrations. And he's like, okay, Filoni says. I love Boba Fett, but even when I was a kid, the idea that he fell into the Sarlacc pit was actually never disappointed me because I'm like, that story's not about him. And so like where they're going with that aspect of it, I think is pretty is accurate. But once
That's
again,
how he got the job.
Didn't earn it.
He told me that day one, hired. Only person who said that. And I've interviewed thousands. Only one who said it. He got it.
Yeah.
And he said he fucking Dark Jedi is a stupid name.
And thank you for the super chat, Luz. I appreciate it. What was Boba's arc? Yeah, Boba's arc. Do you mean in Book of Boba or in totality? He's a little boy who is a vicious but endearing little boy whose father's killed, and then we assume he goes out into the crime world. So there's like the start of his journey. And in Clone Wars, we see him like go to prison with Cad Bane and get broken out and put a gang together. And he's trying to make it, but he's also kind of getting ripped off by people like Aura Singh, who kind of steal his ship and stuff like that. Most of that stuff kind of hangs unresolved because they didn't finish it. But if we just look at it in terms of this series, he's a guy who, his arc is he's a guy who has a second chance at life, and he attempts to figure out what he wants in life. But the problem is what he wants.
Vito Corleone already knew what he wanted in life, so we can't do that because that's what Vito Corleone did. Like,
no,
I agree with you. He should have an existential moment. It's when he's that scene in the first episode when he's in the Sarlacc pit. He looks over. Had that been a clone trooper and he had seen his own father's face, he'd have an existential identity, like a schism, a rebirth. Like it's just not well thought through all this stuff. It's entry level ideas.
Yeah, and that stuff right there, though, even without that, even if we just say him climbing out is once again his rebirth, his will to live again and to reform after he's been injured, which you could say is enough if you wanted to. That's I think where they were coming from. But he comes out and then he goes in, he becomes part of this family, part of this tribe, right? And then that's where I think it does connect back to the missing daddy flying away kind of stuff. It's not very strong. They don't really make very strong connections between the father in Attack of the Clones that we're calling back to, and that man, the chief, or that the family is the unit he always wanted.
They just drop it.
They just kind of, it's like you have to work for it and find it, or you would never come to the conclusion based off of what the narrative is actually telling us in the moments that it's only as an afterthought that you can put it together. So I think that was that was weakly done, but we can nonetheless say okay and go with it. But then once he gets out, that family's murdered now, and then we know he wants to go and he wants to take over the crime world. He wants power, but he doesn't. And then the family that he makes is like some pump kids and a Wookiee and the girl with the robot tummy. Like it's really like your family. It's like going to the office and believing that the people in the cubicles next to you are your family. You know what I mean? Like these people are hired by him. It's a really pathetic, sad way to look at family if that's what they're going for at the end of the day. It's almost like Michael from The Office. That's a kind of like the level of intimacy that he would have with these people. So anyways, yeah, if I was telling the story that they wanted to tell, I would have had stuff like where there was Janine the stripper, and he was in love with her, but he couldn't commit, baby, because he had bounty hunting to do, and they had a kid, and he wasn't there. And I would have had him reconnect with the things he left behind and brought them into this future and stuff like that. And that's a little bit where I start to go like, there's a possibility of salvaging what is on the table right now if they do continue it and they do actually do things that reinforce what they have set up. But that's why
there's only one path forward with that story, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a negative character arc where he finds out that the guy who murdered his father is still alive, and he goes for revenge, and he destroys himself to get it. And there's only one interesting and compelling story left to tell. That's it. Anything beyond that is just now he's just a figurehead in the background where everyone else has adventures. Like,
I disagree there because we're only taking what's on the table as what the thing, like Nari, for instance, coming into the story. We don't know what could come into the story. Like I'm saying, if his real son did come in, if his real son or his real daughter shows up, like that's where you start to have like, oh shit. And that's where you actually would have tension. And we don't learn anything about Boba's past at all in actuality, other than the fact that he a couple weeks ago or 5 years ago, he climbed out of the Sarlacc pit and fixed a girl's tummy. And then like he lives with some Tuskens, like his actual past. What was he doing for all of those years? We don't know anything. I mean, look at Han Solo, just like the amount of people and the amount of things that have been put into his story in the bigger picture. So what I'm saying is that if they do continue, I do think Mace Windu is the way to go, like we were talking about. I also think that the past, the good past and the bad past catching up, meeting up is the only way to take it to save
jumping
it.
Back. Like in Vito Corleone's story, when you went back and saw a younger fucking Vito, you see the younger fucking Boba. You know, like you got to have some context, some contrast, something to pair one against the other. Otherwise, it's just he's sitting there asleep and now I'm awake, asleep and now I'm awake.
Well, and like somebody who was a bounty hunter of Boba Fett's notoriety over the years would surely have some enemies.
And please don't call him Shirley.
Yeah, not just people down the street. You know what I mean? Who are mad that you moved in. Like there's all kinds of things that can be done. That's why if they do another season, I'm not out. If they do another season and it's more of exactly that, then I will be like, wow, not excited at all. I'll watch it when it comes out, but I'm not going to anticipate it whatsoever. You know, I really
do.
Have you guys seen the New Kids in the Hall?
Not yet. I heard it's good.
There's this skit where a hitman goes into a diner and he's supposed to murder the person who says doo-doo. And then somebody says doo-doo, and then everybody starts going, you said doo-doo. You said everybody starts saying doo-doo, and then he doesn't know who to kill. It's so good.
I love the Kids in the Hall, man.
It is.
It went
this
from
new?
You can't do that on television to Kids. Yeah, it's new. I went from you can't do it on television to Kids in the Hall like in a hot minute back in 87. Like it was just a boom, 88, whatever that year that was. Yeah.
Are they the ones that would do this?
Yeah. They actually bring that one back.
I didn't actually watch it. It was on MTV, right? Wasn't it?
No, it was on after SNL. It was actually like kind of it was on after.
I watched
Saturday
on
Night
HBO.
Live. It was on after Saturday Night Live, like really late. It was like after SNL ended, then Kids in the Hall would start. And to me, it was sort of like it was weird because it had like, musical interludes and stuff, and it felt like a punk show.
Mhm.
And in a weird way, it kind of said, like, to me as a kid, like SNL is like mainstream comedy, and then this is alternative like comedy. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting because it was so out there, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
But,
Woo!
yeah, I went back too far. I always go too far. But let me see, make sure I didn't miss anything in chat, because today's Channel Members Day. I love the channel members. They mean a lot to me. I really do appreciate the support, you guys. Thank you. Tyrant says, oh shit, the literal made a comparison to Scarface. Damn you, Brez, get off my shiz. Yeah, that's like the other side of it. When I think about Scarface, and I made that joke in the video I did, the big spoiler video. You get high on your own supply is like kind of the message. Don't get high on your own supply, and no one does that in that story either. So when it's like Star Wars has always been a concentration of tropes, too many tropes that just throwing them at you. And Book of Boba Fett, like, it takes like a very limited amount. It almost is condescending about the amount of tropes that you can comprehend at once. So I expect more. I know Favreau has more ability than what that series gave us.
Well, Jason, I don't know. Originally in Francis's first draft, Vito fell into the sewers and befriended a family of rats, and he learned all the rat ways and how to forage and everything. And but they would, whenever they screw up, they go, "Oh, you dirty rat," and that was cut. But that later came back. It was like a poem that rhymed later on with the rest of the movie. So Boba Fett's that's exactly how you do things in film. You should do more like that. Mm-hmm.
Baymax says, are there any significant gaps in the story, spoilers, where things are a bit thin, where it's plausible you could be completely surprised by a cameo or something happening that you're not yet aware of? That's always possible. I'm never so arrogant as to go like, no. On a side note, before I forget, EW put out an article last night about with Deborah Chow, and they're talking about cameos. They're like, don't expect cameos. Like, they're basically like going, don't expect they're actually kind of doing a smart thing, going, stop, just don't expect them, okay? Like the ones that you're expecting will be from the movies, is what they're saying. And that's what I've been saying the whole time. And there is nothing of significance that, like, I think like that will surprise me. I'm not expecting anything. When I lay out what I laid out, I know other things about the show, other things, and I'm just like, I got, like, the one thing I mentioned today. Someone tells Obi-Wan Kenobi about, like, Darth Vader, like that's him. There is a moment like that. I don't remember the details, but for instance, I don't know where that would fit in. I don't know how it fits in or where it's insignificant. And then the other side is fans often tend to add significance and meaning to things that aren't truly there based off of their experience watching. And the crew, they don't know what that's going to be. Nobody really usually knows what, I mean, of course they aim for the point of the scene to be the moment of significance, but not always the case. So it's like, there might be like, oh my God, to me, they implied that Rex is gonna be there, and it's just like, oh, that seems significant to you, but it really wasn't. So the stuff that I put out is I would always say, like, the broad strokes. You know what I mean? Unless I've seen it and I could just quote it verbatim and just fucking write down a transcript of what's on screen. It's I always say it's the broad strokes, but I would say it's much, it's a bit deeper than that at times too. But
it was also originally a spin-off of Different Strokes featuring a bunch of women.
Well,
insensitive by the mid-'80s though.
The other thing is too, and this is just a little bit about my methodology and in interviewing crew during production and people down there, is that when you tell me about episode 1, day 1, when I get that, I write it down, make my notes, okay? Then I go on, and then by the time we're at episode 3, I'm looking back at episode 1 every now and then. I'm like, hey, so in episode 1, when he goes up to the Jawa, like what's the Jawa's what was the Jawa's name? And then they're like, oh, Tika. And I'm like, Tika. You know what I mean? And then when we get to episode 4, I'm asking about episode 1, I'm asking about episode 2 more. About, hey, remember back when you said, and then I'm getting that, right? But when you get to episode 6, I'm like, all the end stuff, big stuff. But then that's when you start to go, but that's when you don't really get to go back and fill in little parts in the middle because production kind of ends on that one. People move on for that time. And stuff like that. And so what I'm trying to say is that I believe I focused more on the opening and the ending than I did the middle stuff. And then the middle stuff was like the series of Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like a handoff constantly. Like, oh, we got Leia. We're trying to get Leia. Like, it's like a back and forth. And it's like, it would be like, to an extent, writing down a bus schedule, but with Star Wars names. And it's not really like that. It's not really important to getting what we want to get at. To having the conversations isn't about them plotting from here to there. If I had been covering Boba Fett, though, God, wouldn't that have been a nightmare? And then they just walk into frame. I don't know how they got there so fast. They just did. Don't ask me. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been a hard one, I think. But once again, I never ever try to go like, I think I will be arrogant in the way like I brought this. Like, spoilers on this one, I brought it. I definitely did. I delivered. And I set out to do something and I did it. And there you go. Thank you to my sources. Also, it's a lot of fucking work though. It really is a lot of work. It's a lot of travel and stuff like that. Like, I saw people on Star Wars Leaks going, I don't care if people take from him because isn't he just taking from them? It's like, well, number one, you little arrogant bitch. Do you want the fucking spoilers? Because if you do, like, what you're saying actually just makes it stop. It's not like I always have to, like, people don't understand. If I don't do it, they're not just going to put it into a capsule, shoot it out into fucking space to let in somebody's backyard, and they're going to put it on Reddit for you. That's not how this works. I have to cast the line. I have to reel it in, which costs me money and time and passion and headaches and everything. You know what I mean? And driving in traffic and running out of podcasts because there's no more fucking podcast. No, but they go and they simplify things and they act like little fucking bitches, just little fucking bitches about this stuff. And
say the C word.
Yeah, no, they are. They're a bunch of cunts, and they fucking still my information.
Hope they're all looking forward to just nothing but casting news for the next fucking 10 years.
No, I will be honest. I mean, if the channel continues to like take off, I'll probably keep on doing it. But if the channel just kind of hangs out and does what it does, and these people keep stealing from me, by all means, have fun getting your half-baked Jordan Mason. I'm hearing they're doing a Darth Maul cartoon set in the High Republic era. Have fun with that. You know what I mean? Have fun not rewarding the people who actually bring you shit. Have fun biting the hand that feeds you. Sorry to bitch, but these people, they drive me crazy. And there's a guy over on Reddit named Legal Eagle who sets the record straight. I fucking love you, Legal Eagle, and anybody who cares about truth, justice, and the American way. Okay. Young Boomer says Boba was engineered as an unaltered clone of Jango, but ended up being closer to Jango than the clones. Book was kind of about his second chance at breaking free of that expectation of being Jango too. See, I think if that's what they were doing, though, they passed up on just so many opportunities for that kind of shit. They passed up on opportunities from people from Jango's old life showing up and like well, she was dead, but people like that showing up and being like, hey, let's go. And him going like, you know what? I'm not going to make the same choices as my father. Like, that isn't really on the table. But the fact that I think we're able to have this discussion, and I don't think you sound stupid or anything, Young Boomer. I think the way you're saying is like literally like your reading of it. But the fact that you and I could read it so drastically different, and I don't think either of us is drastically like ridiculous in our interpretations, says something about the open nakedness of the narrative and how it needed to be filled in. Need a little more fashion, a little more bling, a little bit of bedazzle up here to bring your eyes down here. I'm Young Boomer says I'm replaying Bounty Hunter at the moment, and Django had Boba to find something else to live for other than the hunt. Yeah, that is a good point. Sad that Boba just carried on the legacy thanks to Cad Bane Arabot. Yeah, and that's like the thing is like, is his reason still reads selfish. Like he's not starting a family, bringing in an old family he has. Like there's just nothing there. It's all very much about him. Now, if in the next season, if they should do one, they actually hold that over his head and give some consequence to it, that could be also be a fascinating thing to explore, I think. But I don't know, because I mean, like, I could see them just going, well, Mando restores Mandalore and then he gets with them, and there you go. It's like, you know what, man? I love you guys. You guys are, I consider you guys family. Are you the same as my little children? And like, no, you're not. And you shouldn't be. That would be weird if you were. And it's like, it's a different thing. It's such a, and I think that like Favreau has a family. I think he knows the fucking difference too. That's what I find weird. And so does Robert Rodriguez. The Young Boomer says, oh yeah, the same one. But anyways, yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I heard their justifications, and it's nice to know what they were going for, but I think that the narrative of the show also told us what they were going for, and that the narrative of the show just proves they didn't hit it.
I heard all of John's ideas, and I brought to the very next meeting a bag of toast and a jug of milk.
Okay.
And he just got hungry. He didn't get it. I don't know what to do.
Hungry or hangry?
Hangry. I'm from. I like to think I'm from Texas, so I say hangry.
So Cal Kestis is still the lead protagonist in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and man, I don't know if this has been officially tackled yet, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I hate that. Like, it should just be called Jedi Survivor. Like, that's
Survivor.
Jedi
like, they have to say
Survivor.
colon every time.
Colon blow.
Yeah, if he's a colon survivor, I support that name wholeheartedly.
Oh shit. Okay, so Cal Kestis eats total 40, the best breakfast cereal of all time. Okay, during the latest episode, remember that shit?
Me and Santa.
Grape nuts. It makes you fat. During the latest episode of Games Beat Decides, journalist and insider Jeff Grubb stated that despite ongoing rumors and speculation, Cal Kestis will still be the lead protagonist in the upcoming Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel, Jedi Survivor. Grubb said the following: Cal Kestis is still the star, of that game, Jedi Survivor. He is the main character, but I suppose that doesn't mean there aren't other playable characters. I'm not saying that there are either. So basically, if he doesn't know that, there's not. I don't know why you would assume there would be. So I think that's just trying to get people to speculate. I don't know, but I was told is Cal Kestis is the main protagonist still. So yeah, I think that's for the best. And I think just in terms of production, it probably makes a ton of sense because they already have his the mocap for him for his moves and shit like that. It's got to help with development of the game to already have most of that stuff out and everything. I will say the one thing I'm not looking forward to is like in these kind of games is like you play through the game and you have like no moves and then you develop them and you put the skill points in, and then I'm going to play part 2 and I'm going to start all the way over, kind of.
I wish they do that to Mario where he can't even run.
Yeah.
Part 2, he
just
fat. Sits there. He's just
fat. He's like, he's like me fat. On the treadmill.
Yeah. You just have to wait for a power up to show up before you can start to do shit again,
No, I get it. I get it, but that is kind of weird. Grubb's comments have echoed what I've said over the years on various podcasts. He means his podcast. He doesn't do other podcasts. Just promote your own podcast, damn it, Bob. That Kestis is the lead in the sequel to Fallen Order. Back in January 2020, when I was first told anything about on the sequel, Cal was planned to be the main character. However, in recent months, I'd heard conflicting things. I love it when he says this, by the way. He actually says that. Like I'd heard like that's what they say in Wales. Namely that Cal is still the lead and there's a new playable character. I took this as merely rumors and not something to report on, especially given the fairly decent demand from fans to have Marin be the lead in Jedi Survivor.
Reva's the lead.
What?
Reva's playable now.
Oh no. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is reportedly releasing in either. See, what I hate about this is it's not called Jedi Fallen Order, is it? It's called Jedi Fallen Order. So that's what
You have to say Jedi Order. That's how.
Yeah.
Survivor. Yeah.
So anyways, blah 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 blah. PC and current generation consoles, PlayStation 5 and Xbox XS, Jedi Survivor is rumored to make an appearance of some kind at Star Wars Celebration, which runs from May 26th until the 29th. So no dedicated panel for the title will be present at the event. If you want to keep up to date with the latest leaks, news, reputable rumors, and my exclusive reports, give them some money. Support your creators, bitch. We're saying bitch a lot today.
Bitch.
So, okay, so it is Star Wars Jedi. Okay, then hey, I stand corrected, Mr. Astro.
Jedi Fallen Colon.
Yeah, it's weird. It should be. I hate it. I still hate that. It just bothers me. They call it a new franchise when talking to investors. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I understand. Like, it's just like just it looks weird. It looks weird, like Star Wars Jedi. At the same time, I almost feel like, do you guys think it would be ridiculous for them just to call it like Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, without Star Wars being like front and center on the branding? Do you think that Jedi is as big as Star Wars itself, that you could literally get away with that for the most part in terms of marketing? Not in terms of the side sleeve and where it goes on the shelf, but like I almost feel like you could.
It almost could, but
yeah,
almost like a Star Wars.
People are kind of like, I hate to say this, but people are kind of dumb. So you have to put everything on there so everyone fucking knows what you're talking about. Artistic, design be damned. Like you have no choice. People
What's
be like, I don't know. Is this thing? You ever went to jail? It looks like Star Wars. You think they like Star Wars? Then like they'll never. You would think people know what Nintendo is now when you get Mario. No, you got to put Nintendo on it. They won't even, if you don't fucking put Disney on a Mickey Mouse thing, they will, is this real? I don't know what it is. This is a mouse. Like, it just,
the biggest thing I always disliked was it was called Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Love that. But Star Wars Rebels. And like behind the scenes, like it was supposed to be Star Wars: Rebels, but they're like, no, it sounds more like Star Wars is rebelling. Like, this ain't your dad's Star Wars. And I was like, oh my God, that is so.
I remember the big argument that they couldn't call Episode 2 the Clone Wars because it would have wars twice in the title. And then Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 semicolon Jedi Outcast. How about that one, Jason? How about Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast? Remember that fucking game?
The people come up. I was looking up. I was trying to find like a picture of Reva for the featured image today, and I came across like a Screen Rant article or something, and it's like Reva breaks Star Wars convention, and I'm like, you just made that up. There's no conventions, there's no rules or any of that to any of this stuff. You just decided like based off of 5 things you saw, like them's the rules. Tyrant, thank you so much, man, for the super chat. I appreciate it.
We should treat your dinner like they do clickbait articles. 5 things you didn't notice in your dinner: the bun, the cheese, the meat. Idiot. You ate dinner, didn't notice the bun and the meat on your hamburger, you fucking moron. Those fucking articles.
Hot dogs break sandwich convention. Jason, we will go with you wherever you go. If it's podcasting, YouTube, Patreon, feet fetish, OnlyFans, hell, bring Rob along too. Just no Blue Man Group. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I mean, it does mean a lot to me. It is nice. Thank you. As the truth says, yeah, Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Squadrons makes it look weirder. And almost no one says Star Wars when talking about Fallen Order. That's true. Like when it's like when it is like a sub franchise, and as they
probably
refer to it,
issue too, Jason.
It might be, yeah.
Trademark wise, they have to put it on there for blah 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 blah.
Well, I would say actually I would understand it like Star Wars Battlefront. Like Battlefront's not a Star Wars word. Battlefront could mean, it could be an Age of Empires game or something, Age of Empires Battlefront or whatever. But Jedi is the buzzword that I think is that they own. It's the defining word in that thing right there. So, and it's in so many Star Wars titles itself, Return of the Jedi, The Last Jedi, stuff like that. And I think it's synonymous with Star Wars. So that's why I think that they could get away with it, but I know what you mean. You have to idiot proof this stuff. As the Truth says, Fallen Order is the second best-selling Star Wars game ever. 30 million players. To some people, this is the Star Wars game for them, which is cool. Yeah, as a true, my 8-year-old son, that game defines Star Wars for him in a lot of ways, more than the movies, maybe. And
there weren't 30 million game consoles in people's hands in the 90s.
Yeah.
The word was, if you got to 10, you won everything. It just took forever for those numbers to get to the numbers we have now. Gaming is just bigger.
Back when I was in college, back in the day, I remember hearing like a lecture one time. I think it was by Jacobs, I think was the guy's name. Can't remember his name though. I apologize. But basically it was talking about how pop culture becomes pop culture and how high culture becomes low culture, and then how low culture, the only way that low culture actually is what survives. And it survives because like Shakespeare survived because there were so many fucking copies of Shakespeare in people's hands. If it's not in the people's hands, it doesn't survive. It doesn't go on to become the canon of literacy or pop culture or film or whatever it happens to be. If you can't get Dogma, Kevin Smith, we can't fucking, I know it's not his fault, but you know what I mean? But like Dogma, it's gone. You know what I mean? It's not on there. It almost doesn't. It's almost gone. But
thanks, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, thanks, Weinstein. But anyways, but right now, when you have Fallen Order getting into 30 million, the hands of 30 million people, 30 million kids, 30 million fans, then that becomes a big part of what defines it, is that level of exposure, and that's why the prequels are getting the love that they're getting from kids today. Because there was so exposed to so many people that I know I said exposed, Meg, but it's like that so many people that it's going to find an audience, and that audience has a chance to grow if there is any merit to it. But I think that's also why we're seeing Fallen Order's planets and concepts and characters and stuff like that in the Kenobi series, because why wouldn't you? And what it is a good story. It is a good game. It's a good game and it's a good story. Ultimately too, it's, you know what I mean. I would say go on YouTube, Max, if you want to play a game. I would suggest playing it. But if you won't play a game, or you're not interested in ever getting into gaming or anything like that, I would go on YouTube and like watch like the supercut movies that people do. Just get your little little Chewbacca bong out. It kind of looks like this, but it's Chewbacca's face and the little thing right here. Pack it, and just kind of watch the cutscenes and how people sort of show like the story elements in it, and you'll get it. You'll have a good time.
Like this.
Yeah, you'd be like, but yeah, you'll like get like the general gist of it, like, because there are elements of the story, like the planet Nur is a big part of Kenobi, and it's a big part of the game.
So like these games aren't like canon, right?
They are canon.
They are. That's where.
They are canon, and
they shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be. I don't.
No, see, right here in this instance, you are right.
When they die, they come back to life, right? They don't just die forever. Then they're not canon. Like, it just. Do you see what I'm saying?
See this. When
Qui-Gon dies, it doesn't go. Hold on, reboot.
Sorry,
no,
I'm going to beat my head against the wall.
It's a video game.
No. In Star Wars Battlefront is canon. Is that one time you got on and fucking ran down a battlefield right into your death? Did that happen? No, it didn't. But is there a story mode to the game? Yeah, the story happened. The general gist of the story where you didn't die is the story. I mean, it's not that hard.
I mean, and the reason I'm asking is like where they have all these characters and these different settings that I guess that confuses me.
Yeah, no.
I guess in my head I wouldn't consider it canon.
No, it's like it's the kind of game where it's like, you play through and you swing a lightsaber and you level up the character, but you're kind of playing a story on rails, if you will. And you you can explore the areas and find hidden power-ups and stupid shit like that, that you need to progress, and there's challenges to do, but there is an ongoing story that's A, B, C, D, E, F, G all the way down, until the end. And
Just see.
like yeah, and the story of the game is good. It's about this Jedi who's on the run, and he was a Padawan, and then he becomes like a salvager on this line, and then the Inquisitors catch up to him.
Uh-huh.
Is the gist of it. He ends up beating like the last Night Sister, and like they end up like saving her, and it goes into, like I said, like the actual like if they ever decided, which I actually don't think would be a bad idea ever, for them to take like that game and turn that into a miniseries movie of just the content from it into like a show, I would be up for it. I would totally
That would be
watch
cool.
that shit, and it would do well. People would be into it. That said, in no way am I implying, Max, you must watch the cutscenes from the game, or you're gonna miss out on Kenobi. You're gonna be lost. You're not gonna know what's. Nah, it's not like that either. But it is kind of cool to like see the stuff, and I do think that if this is an instance of celebrating the fact that the game is canon, that it is connecting to the Kenobi series. These things are talking to each other. It's them actually doing what they say that they're doing. This is an instance of it. I think for all the stupid shit that they do that I like to harp on, when they do something right or what they intend to do, I think should be kind of,
I'm for rewarding people though. Like I'm for like, oh, you got to watch WandaVision to get to the fucking things going on in the Doctor Strange. I'm like, yeah, I like that. Like I like that sort of thing. That means the big thing that you don't have 4 hours to devote to in the movie, you can get somewhere else and come in. Catalyst, Star Wars Catalyst makes Rogue One even 10 times better than Rogue One is. No one read it. I don't fucking know why you clone. If you're telling me you're a prequel fan, you haven't read Catalyst, you're a fucking liar. So that's all I'm saying. Straight up. I don't want to hear shit.
Catalyst is very good.
I have the book.
Straight up. Well, I just don't
do.
want to hear. How many people like I love Meg, I love all, but they tell me, but then they haven't read. Oh no, I want to like. I'm like, well, then I don't know how to help you because I don't directly abridged.
I don't know if Meg read that book or not.
I'm saying I get a lot of these fans like that. I get a lot of those Meg like. I love Meg, but it's just every time I'm a prequel fan. I know, but there's a lot of prequel fans who haven't read the book, and they go, I shouldn't have to read to get this. I'm like, you don't have to get it. But this certainly enriches it. So if the game enriches Obi-Wan, I think that rewards the people who spent the 100 hours playing the game. That's way better. I just don't think that they should be basing every game around it having to be canon. That's always been my point. If you're going to do a fighting game, don't do Taraz Kasi and go, I can't have Yoda in it because it wouldn't
exactly.
Remember when they said Yoda couldn't be in it because Yoda couldn't fight someone really big? Like,
I think like the big difference is like the AAA story-driven games should be canon. Easy.
Right.
But it doesn't mean, but if they make Street Fighter,
Fortnite,
Star Wars,
yet Fortnite is canon.
No, it's not. It's not canon.
Rise of Skywalker canon. It is.
No.
Right. Fortnite is Rise of Skywalker canon.
No, it's not.
Is Legos canon? The Star Wars Lego game?
No, Lego's not canon. That's the other thing. It's like Lego Star Wars isn't canon. You could glean things from it. Like Meg pointed out to me, I overlooked it when I saw it when I played it. What's her name? The Rancor monster is called Muchi Patissa, which implies Muchi from Bad Batch is Patissa, which is the Rancor that Luke Skywalker
same one
kills. Yeah, and like people.
But I don't think. Hold on, as a true Lady loves games because you can. Yeah, but here's the thing: as a true is you can't get fun games like Super Star Wars if you're focused on canon. You know what I mean? You can't get fun side scrolls where you have crazy fucking mon fight a Dianoga with fucking flamethrowers and Boba. You can't get cool shit if every game is canon. You just can't.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, yes and no. Like in terms of if you're doing like a Star Wars story that's supposed to be cinematic, then of course you wouldn't go outside of the confines of what the story would do. Book of Boba Fett, I feel like did some video game shit at the end there with that big ass Ed 209. But anyways, but where I'm going with it is that, like, for instance, in Jedi Fallen Order, they introduced the Purge Troopers. We get the Purge Troopers in Kenobi a couple years later, so they've changed the helmets now. They have different helmets. And so there's ways around that stuff when it doesn't work or when it's not good enough for the screen, that they just can get around. But I also think if you're gonna introduce, like, if what do you say it did 30 million players for that Star Wars game, with that amount of exposure, it's more, I think, of a bad idea to not make a game with 30 that could have 30 million people not doing it as canon, because then they're like, why isn't this and why isn't that? Like, you get 30 million people who are going, why isn't it that? And so I get it, but I also like when they made the fucking cell phone game. What was that? They made so many shitty cell phone games, and the first ones were canon.
The Star Wars one?
The one that had Burnin' Khan in it, and Burnin' Khan was actually mentioned in Mandalorian. But it's like, yeah, like a fucking cell phone game that's not even going to be playable in 2 years. Don't fucking make it canon. I'm completely, and I'm, you know, if you're gonna, and when they make like a Star Wars, if they make Star Wars miniature golf VR, it won't be canon. Star Wars pinball isn't canon, like, and stuff like that. It's, but
I'm really adamant that Pod Racer 2 it's canon. Anakin went back and did all them races.
what was the Star Wars wacky races game called? Remember that one? The like the wacky races game with like the big head.
Oh, Bombad Racing.
Bombad Racing, canon, completely canon. Tyrant says the EA Star Wars games have the ugly EA logo at the bottom, third or whatever game logo, so it all looks like Star Wars Battlefront EA. It's called Star Wars Battlefront.
Like
Tyrant
my dog
says,
deflates.
Yeah. Tyrant says it wasn't if you got to 10 million, it was first to 10.
Yeah, I meant first to 10. I just it was in my head.
That sounds like,
so it's like if you used to
shit.
sell 1 million copies, you were player's choice, and you got like, it went down to $19 or $29.99. You know, like 1 million copies was the gold standard. Now you sell 1 million copies, like, you fucking fired. You owe us money. This shit sucks. Tomb Raider sold 5 million copies, and Square was like, we're disappointed in the sales. It's like, well, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Like, you know.
Tyrant says the highly take for granted gaming attach rates. A large part of the market purchases a console and buys 5 to 6 games in the entire console's lifetime, rather it's Madden, FIFA, Call of Duty. So, As the Truth says, love the games being canon because as a kid, I wanted the games to be canon, laugh out loud. But not every game needs to be. You know, the smaller stuff don't need to be. AAA EA games feel like show and film. Yeah, I think if when they're putting in, like, I don't know how much they put in these games, but 100 million or whatever it is to make these games, yeah, at that point, take it seriously. But at the same
Everyone
time,
knows the instruction manuals are canon, but not the games. So.
Yeah, but Junkbox, like, and like what Junkbox is saying here, Force Unleashed recanonized. Like, Force Unleashed could never be canon unless they, like I said, in recanonizing it, they went with an idea. Like, remember, like, the original story of Star Wars was that there's this Kyber crystal out there, and whoever gets it gets this unlimited force power that's like crazy, and the Luke Anakin character gets it, and that's what they're after and shit like that. If they wanted to do a story, if they wanted to do like a story, if they wanted to do like a story like that, in a video game, but make it temporary and shatter it at the end, something like that, then it'd be like, okay, then I could see how you could make it work, and it could be like a real weird thing that happened. I could believe that could happen in the Star Wars universe for a short time. Palpatine shot lightning up into the sky and shit. I believe people get kind of, Super Saiyan at times for reasons, but just make the reasons good.
John Campio will fucking rage.
Yeah,
like, I love John, like that. He'd be one of those guys. You just get a crystal, get spent. It's like when they rage about the multiverse. Everything's multiverse. I'm like, 2 shows and a cartoon you didn't watch or multiverse. Everything else, Shang-Chi ain't multiverse. I'm hearing it's not just from them, from everyone. Everything's multiverse. I'm like, it's not. Are people using the name and other things? Yeah, like get where, like, fucking the metaverse, like branding. 2 fucking things are like, this is the stupidest fucking argument I've ever heard. Like, don't worry, it'll all go away one day. Then they'll be like, remember all those things you didn't appreciate about the multi. Like, you'll never hear the end of this.
I watched the hot take here. I watched the She-Hulk trailer last night. I thought it looked like I kind of want to watch that. It didn't look awful to me.
I want to watch it because I saw the poster or it was a poster.
Yeah, I just kind of was on Twitter I was on Twitter like as it hit, and
Mhm.
like I watched it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll watch that. Yeah, sure.
So they have a trailer online.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
there's
the
a full
trailer,
trailer.
I have to watch.
full
it.
trailer. Yeah, and
Yeah, it's
they,
got TV level CGI. Someone's the CGI is really great. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a TV show, man. They're not gonna do even like one of the things that they don't do on the TV shows that they do in the movies. People don't know this. For all the Marvel movies,
Mhm.
they go in post and they tuck in and pinch and make those uniforms on people look
Yeah.
real fucking tight. So anytime you got like a little fold in your suit, they airbrush that out and fix it. And on the TV show side, they don't do that. Like, you know, they don't, because there's just no time and money for that sort of thing. Like, it's one of the benefits to making $1 billion at the box office is you can afford that kind of shit. So,
yeah. So I guess,
you know.
yeah. So I mean, does that mean that we should look at Star Wars that way too? I mean,
Except when they tell us that it's going to be just as cinematic. Only complaints I have about Mando CGI wise is just the color grading.
mhm.
Just the color grading, the look. Like, if Mando looks one way, Boba should look as good. Shouldn't look cheap. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. It's not
Yeah.
hard, you know?
Yeah, my I'm okay with something actually like looking and even feeling cheap if it's consistent. It's
Correct.
inconsistencies is when like
Yeah,
you know
I
what I mean?
thought
Like
the,
I could watch Doctor Who and be completely fine with certain stories just because
the
that's the world we're in.
Harryhausen.
Yeah.
The Harryhausen monster and Boba Fett. I was like, this looks fine. I don't know what people are bitching about. I mean, the
Yeah.
Rancor and the Hutts, the Rancor and the Hutts straight up look as good as any fucking film. That shit's crazy. You know,
I thought you were gonna be mean to the original Rancor. I love him. Her. It.
I fucking hate that puppet.
I think
But
it's so
like,
good.
it's
It's good.
stupid. You can see the hand in it.
So-
It's just someone's hand. Looks like, remember that Insector bee? You put your hand in there, the Insectors. You
Oh
find
yeah, I
them
had
and
that.
shit.
I had that. I got that
Yeah.
when it went to Pick and Save. My grandparents got it for me for Christmas.
What's Pick and Save?
You and I,
What's
Jason
Pick
and
and
I
Save?
may have actually met at a Pick and Save once because my parents routinely shopped it as well.
Uh-oh.
Pick and Save is before 99-cent stores became a thing. It was never as cheap as 99-cent stores, but it's where it was like where basically overstocked merchandise would go to die.
Like
And-
surplus.
Yeah, I think it became Big Lots later on.
Ah, okay.
But Big Lots kind of went into this weird place like where it sells furniture and has like 1 foot and home stuff. And it's Big Lots is not really what Pick and Save was, but it was a cool place to go because every now and then like you go to Pick and Save and oh boy, they just have this whole wave of Return of the Jedi figures. And they're like cheap and Grandpa, that's where Grandpa buys his toys. Grandpa's not taking
I
you
got
to
Luke's
Gymco.
land speeder at a Pick and Save.
Pick and Save, yeah. I
It's a Home Depot now, but it's right in this across from the sports arena in San Diego. There's like a Home Depot that used to be the Pick and Save.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Big Lots. It's probably the Big Lots.
Probably
Now that
a
you
Big
bring it
Lots.
up. Yeah.
As it true says, my first Xbox 360 game was the Clone Wars Republic Heroes. I got it for Christmas with the console. Started loss of interest in Star Wars around this time, so I was sad I got it instead of FIFA. That's funny. Yeah,
I have friends that only buy the consoles for Madden. Like, that's all they buy. Like, they get a new PS5, it's got one game, Madden. That's so they do exist.
Someone was telling me that they're putting FIFA out, EA now, but without FIFA. Like they're making like the games, but they're not paying for the FIFA licensing anymore. So it's like not going to be.
EA did that on Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
They didn't have the license for that system because of the way the licensing worked out. So they released Madden 64 has no team names. It just has colors. No people, no names, just the colors of the teams. It's quite fun if you play it on retro. You go, this is weird, and it was.
Tyrant says, "I love the color grading of Mando. It's the one thing that's off for me about Kenobi. Mando, there have been just a handful of CG where it looks okay in still images, but it's like missing in frames and motion."
Yeah, and I'm very forgiving on that part. You know, with the CGI. On the TV show side, I get it, you know. So I'm always okay. What can you get away with? What they can't get away with was when it clearly looks like they're on a back lot out and they're fucking some of those Boba Fett shots. You could clearly just see where those Tuscan things where you can see almost the wood bar where the sand stops and the
Yeah.
blue screen starts. You know, you're like, come on,
Mhm.
guys, you gotta throw some. I thought the post effect filtering that they were doing on. I wish that all the flashbacks looked like a grindhouse 70s flashback. You know, like they kept that film grain and chromatic aberration and shit. You know, would have really helped.
Yeah, with Kenobi, I'm curious. They did have another location where they were filming for the outside stuff, and the
Okay.
only thing about it is I don't think it was necessarily Tatooine for the most part. I think it might have been Jabim stuff, where they used that, and so I'm not sure if we should expect entirely more of the same or not. I kind of think so, though. I kind of think it'll probably look better. Deborah Chow, her episodes of Mando look good. I think she generally tends to make good choices. So we'll see, though. FIFA say they're going to make their own game that's better in their delusional dreams. Ouch.
It's so hard to make, dude. So one of the first jobs I almost got in gaming was for a company called Red Lion Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I met the art director of that studio at SeaGraph. We both tried to cut through the construction for the Padres Stadium to get to Comic-Con, and we got booted out. So he gave me a ride in his Ferrari and got into a car accident on the way there because he was driving recklessly. And then we
Yeah.
just shot the shit for an hour. And he's like, hey, you ever want a job? I'm like, sure. So the job would have been in Motion Builder, which was this version. It's where when you take all the motion capture data, it has to go through this thing called Motion Builder so that you can build up all the sequence of frames for the animations in the game. You know, it's like a real grunt level, entry level position. All that motion capture work, all the studio, the pipeline to get all that done is a tremendous amount of money. Like FIFA, I know they have a lot of money, but you have to be willing to put in $1 billion before you will ever start to see $1.
Yeah.
So it's super complex, you know, like
Yeah. I don't play those games, but I can tell us even from my outside perspective, that seems moronic.
and we're not even talking about something being fun, by the way. We're just talking
Yeah.
about like
Get
all
releasing.
just to get the content, you know.
Yeah. 100 that they get Konami to do it, and Pro Evo or whatever they called it this year was trash by all accounts, and I don't like soccer / football. Yeah, all I know is I was good at Top Gun by Konami for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and if you couldn't land, all you had to do was open up the instruction booklet. It told you what you needed to set everything to. You land every time. Wasn't that hard.
To be fair, though, Konami's a shell of a company.
Yeah, I know.
It was. It's not the same company anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see them making Top Gun Maverick for the NES
Tom
now.
Cruise is already. They should though. What a good throwback. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just make the NES sequel, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I would buy it. I'd play it. And I can't talk about it, but boy, am I going to see a movie I'm excited to see tonight. It's not going to be out for a few months, and I'm getting to see it early, and I am super excited right now. It's like I was saying, me and Bestman was like, "What's the number one movie you want to see this year?" I told him it was this movie, and we willed it using our magic powers, and I'm going to see it today. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to film. Like, maybe I might make a video for it tonight, and I'm of course not going to put it out. I can't, you know what I mean? I'm going to have an NDA and stuff, but I'll save it, and then when the movie comes out, I'll put my video out right then. If I'm inspired, if I'm like, oh, this is like everything I hoped for.
Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. I knew it.
No, it's not. It's not Rebel
I knew
Moon.
it. I knew it.
But I'm really happy that Zack Snyder took his Star Wars ball and went home. And because I'm really happy about that. I'm just not interested in ever seeing a Zack Snyder Star Wars. Would you guys ever want to see a Zack Snyder Star Wars? I just
Oh yeah, I'll watch anything that fucking guy makes at this point. It's entertaining. Like, you know,
yeah.
Look, Sucker Punch is visually a great film. Just how do you fuck up a real simple story? All you got to do is have people breaking out of a fucking asylum, but each one has it from their own perspective. That's all they had to do. Simple story with the crazy visual.
Yeah.
Dude gets all fucking crazy. But I really like the Justice League, his version of it, man. It just reminds me of like an Image comic book that has tons of splash pages, big Jim
Yeah.
Lee renderings and shit. Like that's what it reminds me of.
I like.
fine with it.
I've tried to watch that so many times.
Mhm.
I just cannot connect to it. Oh, I pulled that. It's got a. It's my buddy just got me a Star Wars Celebration pass. Thank
Are
you.
you
Oh,
going?
nice.
I
You gonna go?
appreciate that. I don't know. I might. I think I might.
Jinx, you owe me a
I
Coke,
should go.
Max.
Huh?
Maybe I will. I don't know.
We said it at the same time.
Oh wait, I pulled the
didn't hear what you
wrong
said.
thing. You
I
guys
said,
are
Jinx,
out
you
of
owe me a
control.
Coke. It's an old thing.
Yeah. Max is like, I owe him Coke. I'm not sharing my Coke.
I didn't even hear what y'all said. Y'all spoke at the same time.
I know, but he said it like 3 times, Max. He just told you. He said, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Oh, I don't do Coke.
I told you. That's what I knew. That's what he was gonna say. Yeah, Tyrant says Sucker Punch would have been great as an episodic anthology that you find out at the end is all loosely connected. But
There's an
Yeah.
axiom in writing. It's a very simple idea, right? That some people can break if they're geniuses, most aren't. And it's complex world, simple story, complex story, simple world. Which is why things like crime stories, which are set in like New York, something that you're familiar with, can have a complex, layered, deep story with all these families and factions like The Godfather. And then a complex world, right? A fantasy world where you don't know all the fucking rules, like a Tatooine with all this shit going on, should not have a complex fucking story. It should have
Yeah.
be kind of more simpler, where he's just running through blowing shit up, you know? Like, and if you're gonna try to do complex story and complex world, you better be a genius, because few people can pull it off.
okay. So the other night I talked about this yesterday. So I filmed the clip of it, and this broke a movie for me last night. This was the movie Old. This doesn't ruin anything from the movie if you haven't seen it and you care, but it's one
Shyamalan.
line. It's one line. And is this as ridiculous as I feel that it is? You tell me. Am I just being crazy?
When I was your age, I was in love with a man. His name is Giuseppe.
Is that as ridiculous as I feel that it is?
Giuseppe.
Our fans in Italy are like, "What? Is it the proper
What?
name?
This
Is it
is
Giuseppe? I don't know what
He loves, you know what I mean?
Why you laugh at the name of Giuseppe? My grandfather's name was Giuseppe. My great grandfather.
right now, there's like Giuseppe's like unsubscribe, dislike the video.
Like, fuck you.
Fucking
No, I'm just kidding.
reporting this fucking video, all this shit.
Yeah,
I'm going nerd theory now. Fucking
Just
losers.
in the middle of a video, somebody's just. I mean, in the middle of the movie, I was in love with a man. When I was your age, I was in love with a man. His name was Giuseppe. It's like, did you pick the most fucking awful, like random name? I don't know if it was awful, but it's comical. It's like, I was in love with the man. His name was Geppetto. He was a puppet maker, and he wanted a son. It's just like, what the fuck?
I didn't fall in love with a man. His name was a lasagna. I know it's not a food. His name is a lasagna. It's not funny. Like, oh shit, man.
That was from the movie Old. It's on HBO Max streaming right now. I have to say, the movie's not great, but I did like watching it. I did enjoy it. I was intrigued the whole time. It kept me, it kept me in. And if you would watch the Twilight Zone, I'd say you should watch it. It's a good Twilight Zone episode.
Watch it in black and white then. Twilight Zone's always better than black and white.
Yeah, I don't think the movie's gonna be any better in black and white though. It's pretty low brow. Yeah. I guess it's based off of a graphic novel I never read, and I'm assuming that most of what's good about it comes from that graphic novel. Probably that name probably comes from the graphic novel too.
The graphic novel was called Giuseppe.
It was just
Yeah.
Giuseppe, a Star Wars story. I'm waiting for it.
Colon. A Star Wars story.
Yeah, Giuseppe a Star Wars story. But Astrid says, I was invited to Celebration but got canceled the other week due to reasons. I'm gutted. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. That sucks, man. Is this movie where they get stranded on an island and everyone ages drastically fast? Yeah. They're on an island and they kind of figure out really quickly in the first couple of minutes that like every like hour is or like, you know, it's like a year or something. I can't remember what it was. But and then there's like it's this is all the trailer. It's like this like 6-year-old boy like goes into a tent and comes out and he's like 15, you know? Like it's yeah. It's out.
That sounds very Twilight Zone.
Well, he and another little girl go into the tent together, hit puberty together, and she comes out pregnant. It's wild. It's pretty wild. Like the whole movie, like what the fuck, you know? It's fun though. I thought it was a fun movie. It's just not very well made at times. But there is one death towards the end where somebody is dying, literally probably of osteoporosis. Rapidly, they have no calcium coming into their body and their bone, and it's pretty cool. It could have been better though. Like it's like a PG-13 movie, so it could have been better. But you know, like it has the same problems that what was that movie with that he made with Marky Mark, where he's where the plants come to life?
The Happening.
Yeah, you know the Happening when it's like I'm a teacher. There's moments of I'm a teacher, you know, and then there's like also moments in the movie. Like I paused the movie at one point and I'm like, look, Luke. There's no such thing as a fair fight. And if you find yourself on the ground and somebody's trying to beat the shit out of you, you grab the fucking sand and you throw it in his fucking eyes. All right. And my son's like,
it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to keep it on brand.
Yeah. Exactly. But, anyways, though, eventually it gets there. But like the movie kind of makes you mad at like the characters are pretty dumb. It takes them a long time to figure out what you pretty much know instinctively. I guess, unless you're M. Night Shyamalan. I don't know. But yeah, it's all right. All right, we're gonna call it a day. Yeah. It's M. Night. Like I said, if you like weird movies, it's definitely like it's intriguing, you know. I don't think you're gonna go out and like buy it after you see it or anything like that, probably. In my opinion, his best movie, Signs. I think Signs is the best movie he made. The one that actually holds up the most, and Rob says Unbreakable.
Is that the one with
Bruce Willis?
Mel Gibson? Oh.
Bruce Willis. Mel Gibson. Signs is Mel Gibson. Bruce Willis is Unbreakable. Yeah. And
you liked Signs?
I liked Signs a lot. I think Signs.
Okay.
I think Signs was like his. I think Signs is his best like movie. I think it's his most balanced film. But at the same time, like Scarface, he got a little high on his own supply, and he never found his way back. I think it's kind of what happened.
Disney had to get rid of him. He was so high on his own supply.
Yeah. Remember, I think
there's stories about it. You can read the article on like.
People said the next Spielberg, the question mark. Which, how do you live up to that? But why would you believe it? Is the problem. That's the one thing I would always give JJ credit for. It does seem like JJ never really got too high on his own supply in that same way. He was always like, when they said that stuff to him, but he believed it. But
the checks cash Hogan, I don't care. Like, okay,
yeah.
He never ran around believing it.
Junkbox says, luckily I live in NH and have always wanted to go to a Star Wars Celebration, but can't travel that far. Yeah.
I kind of want to go.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I think I don't know. I might pop into it. I'm gonna I'm gonna look at and see what the COVID situation's like, and that's me acknowledging that I do still think it's a bad idea. I do still think it's a risk, but I'm also gonna be like, well, is this the time I'm gonna risk it? Because I'm not going.
Well,
to Disneyland.
Don't judge me if you see my video from Thursday. We were at a club dancing.
Hey, I'm not judging anybody.
But I'd been out quite a few times, like to a club, in a bar.
Yeah, well, it's like
we've been fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're fine until you're not, though, right? You know what I mean? And
I know, but I'm but I'm just saying, you know, I've been out and we've been fine.
There is a part of me that keeps going like, you know, at one point you would think we would need to get revaccinated or a booster again, and like at one point I'm like, if I'm ever going to get it, I want to get it while that booster is still working. And I'm like, and then on the other hand, I think about it every now and then. I'm like, if I did get it though, and then I got over it and it was fine, it'd be kind of, I'm going to feel pretty nice feeling immune for a short time. Just after not feeling immune for the last 3 years, you know, it would,
or go get,
But-
you've already got your booster,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I am
They're
boosted.
low on supply right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Because they couldn't get funding in Congress because we live in that fucking world.
Yeah. Yeah, I you know, I don't want to die, and I don't want to pass it to someone else who dies, even if I don't know. Like you know, when you've had it, you don't know what your lineage is in that. I don't, and you know, so all you can do is just be as responsible as you can be. I do think I would be a little irresponsible if I go. You know, and I kind of think that like what I'll probably do is go. Probably not see my kids for. Like, you know, try to arrange it. So, well, no, I don't have the kids every day.
You just excuse to play Lego Star Wars without them.
Yeah.
I can finally play this shit like a piece.
No, my Xbox broke. My Xbox is bricked.
Dad got COVID, so he doesn't have to fucking play games with us. Like, fuck, got me. Like,
I borrowed my buddy's like, hey, you can borrow my Xbox One. I'm not playing it. You want to borrow? He's all, but I don't have a power supply. And I was like, I have a power supply. So I have to find the power supply, then I'll be able to play my Xbox One. But anyways, thanks to everybody who's a channel member and everybody who supports the channel, and thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the kind words today and stuff like that too. I do appreciate it a lot. And we'll be back tomorrow covering. I think the Kathleen Kennedy article will hopefully be out by then, and we'll cover that. And then I'm gonna be, you know, at that screener for a while tonight, so. I probably won't jump on if it does break out and anything happens. I probably won't be able to, but if it's something huge, I'll get to it after. You know, I will be back if it's something huge is in it. But honestly, if something was huge, it would have been in the main article. This is going to be more deep cut stuff that we care about.
How Rise of the Beast is, Jason. I can't wait to find out.
I don't know what that is.
New Transformers films. What you're gonna go see tonight? Rise of the Beasts.
Man, that sucks, Tyrant. Yeah. Well, like we don't usually, we actually don't book around. Like we take the mask stuff really seriously, and we, you know what I mean? My kids are very pragmatic about it. And but we are hitting a point at school with them where no one is wearing a mask. My kids are some of the only kids wearing masks, and I'm like, my kids are protecting their kids, they're not protecting my kids. I don't know what the right answer is there. I don't think two wrongs don't make a right. But at the same time, I'm a little bit like if we don't all do it, if most of us aren't doing it, I don't think it even makes any sense. I think it's for show at that point. So I'm starting to, we're hitting a point where it's like, man, you don't want to be that person that's being, you know, I guess I would rather be the person who's too cautious than the person who isn't. I don't know. I'm going to think about it, you guys. It's a complex issue that I don't have figured out. I may go. I want to see a lot of you.
In the military, I spent 2 years in nuclear biological chemical, NBC, not NBC, but
wait, what? What did you just say to me?
Yes.
I just saw what was on CBS.
Oh, NBC. That's not CBS. Sorry.
Yeah. And they would just tell us, most people won't survive a chemical attack after like 2 days because they'll just hate wearing shit. Like they'll get complacent. They'll fuck up, you know, like and I was just like, oh, and they show us what happens, you know, to people that fuck up and what mustard gas does to people and shit like that. So, you know, like we'd have to wear, even in tanks, we'd have to wear for, you know, 48 hours straight, you know, our chemical gear, you know, mop gear, what they would call it. It's horrible. Yeah. But people quit. People quit fast. Everyone, when the zombie remember zombies were big for a while, Jason? We'll go. Mm-hmm. But zombies were big, and everyone's like, I'd survive a zombie apocalypse. I'm like, you won't. You won't.
Nah.
You're gonna quit.
I don't even want to. If zombies ever come out, you just fucking eat me. That's cool.
Yeah. They just want to shoot.
You believe in
people.
zombies?
No, but I wouldn't want to live in that reality where that's a thing. I'd rather just die than you know,
Being eaten out.
well, I mean, they could eat me out if they want, but
Eaten out, eaten up. Like, if those zombies were like, "Let me see your bunghole," you know what I mean?
you know,
Like
hey,
that'd be one thing,
you
but
know.
they're ripping out your guts alive. Like Jesus Christ. Whew.
it's just so hard to say goodbye.
That's the entry
to you guys,
point.
you know?
Unless Tinder's gotten really fucking crazy. I've never been, so maybe Zennials are doing weird shit these days. I don't know.
Oh, there's shit. You just stay married, man. Just stay married. But remember,
Yes,
it's not about spaceships, but at the same time,
I like spaceships.
I like spaceships.
we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Thank you for hanging out with
Bye.
us today, Max. Bye, Rob.
Sure.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go.
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.